Okay, so I've taken off the failed retractable gear and I've reinforced the old ones with some putty, which has gone hard now, so hopefully they're a bit stronger around the socket, and put them back on and I'm gonna give it a go and see if that fixes the problem. Otherwise this week a whole new frame should arrive, and then I will gut the other one, fit all the pieces onto that and see if I can make something useful out of it. But I'm rapidly arriving at the conclusion that it would probably just be easier to save my money up and buy a Mavic or a Phantom or something like that, and just fly it and enjoy it, because so far it's just been painful and expensive and frustrating. So anyway, let's see how we go. So that worked reasonably well. I didn't find it was that responsive when it was trying to turn and stuff, which was a little bit worrying, but I do think it is kind of windy out there, especially when you get up higher as well, so I'm thinking that's probably part of the problem. But the one thing that really annoyed me was I spent half the day charging the camera, and for some reason the camera hasn't charged and it won't come on. So I don't... it's not one thing, it's another. I think I'll probably just save up and buy a good one. This is driving me nuts. But return to home worked okay at least, so I didn't have to worry about trying to get it back. If I panicked or anything, I just flicked return to home and it came back, so that's good, even though the GPS is not fantastic at the moment. That's another thing I think I'll probably end up replacing, probably with a more military grade one, so that I can get all the satellites, get a really rock solid lock on it. So, but yes, for all the tooling around and everything, and the time and the money it's taken, it probably would be easier just to go and buy a good one. So I highly recommend, unless you're really diehard, just go out and buy a good one. What do you do? Okay, so this is my pile of retractors that have failed. They're flimsy as hell. They retract once and never again. I surrender. I can't make them work. Therefore, they're getting retired. So I tried getting another frame to gut the quantum out and put it on something hopefully a bit sturdier and see if that resolved a lot of the problems. But they sent me sort of 2/3 of the parts, and I'm missing the critical engine mount, so I can't attach the rotors to anything. So I don't recommend buying one of these frames. So yeah, there's the frame. It looked pretty good. Good solid legs on it. Nice long arms, and they're supposed to have a mechanism to allow it to fold. But they didn't give me enough of these parts here. So I've only got enough to make 2 arms and not 4, which isn't much use really for anything. Alright, so I think I've got the camera working now, so let's take it out and give it a go and see if the gimbal and everything's working properly now. Well, that seemed a lot more successful. I noticed a little bit of juddering in the footage though, which I thought the gimbal would have stabilized out, so I'm not quite sure where that extra vibration is coming from. But I suspect it might be a problem with the frame, because the frame on this model is so flimsy that it's actually got a few cracks and things in it already, and as you can see, like on here I've actually got some tape on here because it's cracked across the top of the arm there. See here as well. Which is a real shame, because it's not a bad copter in terms of its flying ability, but it's like they made a cheap frame out of paper, and these gear are way too low as well. I mean, look how much clearance you've got on the camera. I mean, it's bugger all. You put it on the ground and the camera is basically stuck on the grass and things. So, Hobby King, you could definitely make some improvements to this. I mean, this broke about 10 minutes after I got it. I've now got it reinforced with putty and, I mean, sellotape, come on. Anyway, the C500 frame is ordered, so let's hope when that turns up I can transfer all the guts over to it, and it'll be awesome. I think I'll probably still have to save up and buy a decent one. If you were wanting a decent drone just for, you know, flying and taking some awesome aerial footage, what would you get? Would you go with the Mavic or the Phantom? The only problem is they're super expensive here, so I have to save up for one. I think the Mavic retails for about $1,600 at the moment, so if I was going to spend that sort of money, I want to know what the best one is. Feel free to leave comments below and let me know what you would recommend, and I'll check it out. Alright, well, I've got some good news. The S500 frame came in, so look at moving things over. The only query is whether or not the leg is going to be high enough, but we'll have to see. Looks like a nice solid construction, doesn't flex or anything. Oh, and I also got a sounding board to let me know when the battery's running flat as well. Very nicely packaged. And it looks like I might actually have all the parts in this one. Oh, and I have to say one thing that really thrilled me. I got instructions this time. I didn't get any on the last one. That's awesome news. We'll get the copter built over onto that. But I thought I might just take the drone outside and have a little buzz around the backyard before it gets dark. Hopefully it's not too windy. I think it's running at about an 18k wind at the moment from the east, so we'll see how we go.
reasonably successful. It was pretty windy out there though. I found it was really hard to get a stable lock. It kept blowing off, and so I'm not sure how steady the footage is going to be. And we had a little crash there at the end where I clipped the barbecue on the way in and took a dent out of the propeller, but should be I've got some spares down there, I should be able to replace that okay. Anyway, I will get on to rebuilding it and putting it on the new frame and everything, and hopefully it'll run better, and I will show you what happens when I get that up to speed. As always, thanks for watching. If you want to leave any comments, feel free to comment below. If you've got any drone related advice or suggestions or anything, let me know as well. It's always helpful to learn some new things. I think I'll probably continue checking out the Phantom and the Mavic a bit more though. I think that's probably down to those. I've had a bit more of a look at the GoPro Karma, and for what they're saying, while they've solved the problem of it dropping out of the sky, they haven't really addressed any of the other issues with it. So I think probably DJI is the way to go. Anyway, I will see you back next time. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Yeah, I think this is going to work. That looks a decent amount higher than the existing ones, which should get the camera off the ground at least. Yay!